Pace. Moving on, we take a look at Blue Star. Very disappointing numbers. At least on the profit front, there was some respite. They came back to the profit side this time around versus a loss at the same time last year. However, top line growth has been very subdued. We have with us Satish Jamdar, who is the managing director at Blue Star, joining us. Satish, great having you with us on profit. There's been a bit of a recovery on the operating margins, coming in at about 3.3% during third quarter. What are the key factors behind the growth?
Well, there is, of course, as you rightly said, a flat performance on the top line, and that's to do with how the businesses are growing, the environment a little flattish. But as I have explained before on the other discussions we had, all the last few quarters we've been actually pushing for getting the margins better, our costs in control, our borrowings in control. And so what you're seeing is the result of that improvement happening. It hasn't really been great yet. I think it's not a normal year, but every quarter we would be hoping to get better as time goes forward.
The steep decline that we've seen in the order book, when will that be normalized, and what is the current order book position?
Order book, let me explain in two ways. One is that there were many dormant orders, which, as we started looking at our old project jobs, we started seeing orders not moving, customers not moving on their projects, and so we decided to debook. And I think, if I'm not wrong, about almost 300 crores in this year. And when the projects revive and the customer is ready to start again, we will want to rebook them. Otherwise, it was giving a wrong picture on what's really required. And so to some extent, you are seeing a decline in order book because of the debooking in the last 2 quarters. On top of that, of course, you know that the infrastructure and other capital goods and many other segments are not exactly at their best right now. The GDP has been dropping, so the business sentiment has been a little low. Of course, the sentiments are a little better, and I'm hoping things will rev up a little. But still, that's the situation. And so there is indeed more competition and for less orders going around. We also have decided, given the background of what happened, that we don't want top line at any cost, and therefore, unless it's profitable and unless it's cash positive, we will not go for some of the jobs. And to some extent, we've been very choosy and selective, and I think that's one of the reasons why you also see a slight downward trend in the order booking. But these are all planned, and there's nothing out of control here.
And by when is the 2,000 crore Delhi Metro order likely to be finalized?
Well, I think the biddings have happened for the first phase, and in fact, I think the next tender is out for bidding tomorrow. We actually most probably sending our bids in today. I guess it'll take, I don't know, a couple of weeks. I can't be sure when exactly they'll open the tender. But we have the Bangalore Metro in our hand.
Debt recovery issues have been plaguing the E&P division for a while. Can you give us the current debtor position, the recoverables, and by when can we expect this to improve?
I'll give you a more generalized answer. I don't want to get into specifics of customers, etc. But overall, yes, cash flow has been a problem. You know that in the market with your high interest rates, and I think many businesses are tight on cash, and so getting money out has been a bit of a problem. But we've been very specific on pushing for collecting old debts, and the outstandings have actually remained somewhat stable, but the old debts are a little sticky. We're pushing for them. My guess is that every quarter we will do a little better. I'm hoping when the cash flow situation eases, we should be moving out of that. If necessary, we are taking some stronger measures where some customers aren't willing to respond positively. Otherwise, we are watching our borrowings very tightly. If you saw last year, we had very high borrowings around September, October, and we brought that down quite dramatically last year. We had plans to bring that down further, but quite honestly, due to the cash flow, we allowed the borrowings to rise a bit because I thought they'd gone lower than we targeted last year in March. We allowed it to grow up a little. But in this quarter, we plan to bring down, shave off at least 60 to maybe 80 crores in the next 3 months. So in that sense, the accent will be on getting all those collections done. Customers also usually have their funds waiting for the year end, and then they release them. So usually you find in the last quarter the collections are much better. That's what we're hoping for, and that's what we're pushing for anyway.
All right, Satish, one can only hope that the industry profile improves so that companies including yours can do well. Thank you so much for joining us on NDTV Profit. Let's move on before we wrap